Welcome back. Well, it wasn't the first time the UN got involved in the Western Sahara conflict when it asked Morocco and the Polisario to start talking again. The UN first sent a mission there in 1975, and there is a UN force there today. But the UN's biggest attempt to resolve the dispute was the 2001 plan headed by Special Envoy James Baker. Well, its goals: Sahrawis would gain autonomy under Moroccan sovereignty, and a referendum on independence would be held after a transitional period of 5 years. The plan failed, though. Morocco and the Polisario couldn't agree on details, such as who would be able to vote in the referendum and whether to have independence as an option on the ballot. Well, our guest today, our Ambassador Yousef Amrani, the Director General of the Moroccan Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He's joining us from Athens, where he's travelling on business. Sidi Omar, the UK representative of the Polisario Front. He joins us from Leeds. And in London, Toby Shelley, a journalist and the author of a book about the Western Sahara dispute. Thanks for joining us once again. If I could start with Toby Shelley in London. Why is the international community all of a sudden so eager to solve this dispute that's been lying dormant for so long?
Well, there's been pressure from the Americans to get the issue resolved largely, or in a large part, because of concerns about the cost of the UN mission there and its lack of success so far. There is also an overriding American concern about the stability of the Maghreb.
Is this linked to concerns which are being expressed in the Congress, for example, about Al-Qaeda possibly moving into the area?
Yes, I mean, I think it's to do with general American concerns about the rise of Islamism within the Maghreb. Now, I don't think that there's any real concern about any such problem within the Western Sahara itself. It's probably more an issue about the stability of Morocco itself, which certainly does face a large and well-organised Islamist opposition. Now, the US has decided, it appears, to back an old Cold War ally regime rather than take the risk of encouraging sort of further democratization within the region and the observance of the Sahrawis' right to self-determination.
So is this once again a classic case of perhaps external reasons rather than real genuine concern for the people of the region being the motivating factor and force here?
Oh yes, I think so. I mean, you know, to be cynical about it, the UN Security Council has rarely shown any real and sustained concern for the fate of the Sahrawis. The French position has always been 100% behind Morocco. America has followed its various strategic concerns over the years. The UK has little interest, and China and Russia have played games that have been more related to their own internal concerns.
All right, let's bring Ambassador Yousef Amrani into the discussion once again. How do you respond to those who suggest that perhaps Morocco has been successful in using Western concerns and fears of groups like Al-Qaeda to bolster international support for its position in the Western Sahara dispute?
No, I don't think this is right. Morocco has support because it has a credible approach. It is a participatory approach. And Morocco is really endeavoring not only to solve the Sahara issue, but in all tracks. Morocco is, since the last 6 years, profoundly in agenda reform, politically, economically, openly. And the same approach we are using in our reform agenda, we try also to use it to solve the issue of the Saharan provinces, you know. So we are. And I want to just add something about self-determination later on. Even the Special Envoy, Peter Van Vansen, lately said that self-determination doesn't mean necessarily independence. So that's why we are bringing something new, something that can really bring to build up the Maghreb, because the cost of non-Maghreb is worth $1 billion. The priority for us now to stabilize the region, to create the necessary security for our region, and to build up the Maghreb Arab region, which is something credible, which also project which is credible, and that we can really achieve peace in the region of the Maghreb.
All right, let's turn once again to Sidi Omar from the Polisario Front. Are you concerned that perhaps international support may be slowly eroding for your position in this dispute, looking at some of the statements and some of the drafts being floated in the US Congress?
No, we are not concerned, because we have profound faith in the international system and the United Nations, and we know that the United Nations' concern is to bring about a speedy a lasting and sustainable solution to this problem, but fundamentally aligned with the international legality, which recognizes for our people their right to self-determination. And that's why the Moroccan proposal has not been endorsed by the Security Council, like the selective interpretation of some others. What is being endorsed and reaffirmed is the right of the Sahara people to self-determination. That's the backbone of any policy or approach to be pursued by the Security Council vis-à-vis this question. The concern, which is true as you pointed out, Morocco is playing on the fears of the international community as the question of terrorism, but the danger facing the entire Maghreb is actually the homegrown Moroccan terrorism, which has already struck in Casablanca and other places. And by bringing about a just and lasting solution to the problem of Western Sahara, Morocco certainly will gain by investing its own resources in securing its own country, rather than venturing out and occupying another land.
But looking at, for example, some of the recent statements that came out of countries like Spain, something that the Polisario front has been alarmed by, surely things like that indicate a shift of where the international powers stand on this issue. Surely that's something of concern to you.
Well, as I told you before, it's not the question of Western Sahara, it's not whether the balance of power is shifting that way or that way. It's a very clear-cut question of self-determination. If the international community would have had the slightest understanding of Morocco's so-called claims on Western Sahara, they would have already given Western Sahara to Morocco. But with the massive support it got during the Cold War and the post-Cold War, Morocco has not gained any international legitimacy over its illegal occupation and annexation of Western Sahara.
All right, let's get the view from
Toby. Sense of the problem.
Thank you. Let's get the view from Toby Shelley once again. It's often been said that oil and gas concerns are lurking there somewhere in the background. What kind of role are they playing?
Well, certainly the resources or potential resources of the Western Sahara are an attraction to Morocco to start with, and also to international companies. So the territory is rich in phosphates. It supplies the majority of Morocco's fishing catch, or Moroccan fleet's fishing catch at the moment. There's now talk of prospecting for uranium there, and there are believed to be deposits of many other precious metals. So these are certainly important issues that are taken into account in the corridors of power. But if I could add one thing here, what is very important to
very briefly, Toby,
is that whatever Polisario say and whatever Morocco say, the people of the Western Sahara will make their own voices heard. There's been a low-level uprising in the area under Moroccan control for the last 2 years.
All right,
I'm
sorry, Toby, we're really going to have to leave it there because we are running out of time. We'll have to thank our guests, Ambassador Yusuf Amrani from the Moroccan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Sidi Omar from the Polisario, he's the UK representative of the Polisario Front, and Toby Shelley from London, an author and journalist. And thank you so much for joining us here on this edition of Inside Story. As always, we welcome your comments and suggestions. You can email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. That's insidestory@aljazeera.net. For now, it's goodbye.